Project PS Triple. I got a Yellow Light of Death PS3 from a friend who didn't know how to fix it, so he gave it to me to see if I could fix it. And the only reason that I wanted it was because he said that it had PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility. And if I remember correctly, he also said it was a launch unit. So that means that it's got the hardware backwards compatibility, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So this here is my PS3. It works fine. It's just here to show the difference. You can tell a launch PS3 from a later model by a couple of things. Number one, you can see that this is sort of a matte brushed aluminum kind of texture on this silver piece here. While on this one back here, which as you can see looks much older and kind of disgusting, it's got a chrome finish. It's like highly reflective, while this is just sort of brushed aluminum. It also comes with a card reader, which is inside of this little door here. And you can't really see it because of the light, but it's SD card and whatever Sony's media stick or whatever it was called, and compact flash. There's actually a card reader inside this door, and there's no door at all on this one. And there's a couple of other things, like this only has 2 USB ports on the front, while this one has 4 and whatever. But long story short, it's an early PS3. Also, the earlier model PS3s are much heavier for some reason than the later model ones. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that they have more stuff in them or what, but picking this up is like noticeably heavier. It's huge. Anyway, so this is the PS3, and I was really excited when I picked it up because I was like, wow, this is a launch PS3. It's got the Emotion engine on the board, and it's got a Yellow Light of Death, so I'm going to send it off and have it professionally repaired because I want it to work and I don't want to screw it up. But just to make sure that it was a launch PS3 before I sent it off, I took it and flipped it over, and you can find the model number on the bottom of the PS3, and right about there you can see that it is a CECHE01, which is not a launch PS3. This is like the third model, I think. The launch one was the CECHA, or what, Checa, or whatever you want to call it. This is the Checky. The CECHA came with hardware backwards compatibility. It actually basically had a PS2 on the motherboard. This one, I believe, is the first model that included software backwards compatibility. It took the Emotion engine chip off the motherboard, and it still included PS2 backwards compatibility, but it's not hardware based. So basically, I don't care about it. Meaning that I do want to have it fixed because it would be nice to have PS2 backwards compatibility, but I'm going to do it myself. So, I bought a heat gun, and I'm going to try to reflow it myself. I've never used a heat gun before, I've never reflowed anything before, but I have a PS3 I don't care about because I have another working one, so might as well give it a shot. So I'm going to disassemble this thing and see what happens. Here we go. By the way, before I take it apart, I just want to show that it does in fact have the Yellow Light of Death. So turn the power switch on, zoom in right there, and there we go, yellow light and blinking red. So, that generally means either the RSX chip, which is the GPU, is bad, or the CPU, well not bad, the solder joints are cracked, are cracked, or the CPU has cracked solder joints. So it needs to be reflowed. So I'll give it a shot and see what happens. Step 1 of taking apart the PS3, there's a very large screw inside this little door here, and you want to get at it. It is a, I believe, Torx screw. It's a little 6-pointed star one. So let me grab a bit to work. And see if I can get this screw out of here. grab the biggest one and see if it'll fit. Stick it right in there. Start turning. That's a bunch. This little tab's out for. I'm sure it is. Might be flipping. I'm sure. That little. Doing this one-handed isn't very effective. Should be using a tripod. It feels loose. Let me put this down. Grab a tripod. Alright, much better. I set up a tripod, so now I can actually use both hands here. Oh, well, I found the problem. I was using the wrong bit. So apparently Phillips head bits don't actually fit inside of a 6-sided screw. It would be a good idea to use the correct one, huh? There we go. Alright. So, the big old screw was out. It's a 6-sided torque screw, whatever it's called, security bit. And once that's off, the top panel just comes right off the PS3. And then there's a bunch of screws in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 it looks like. Yeah, so now I'm going to take all of those out. Now once you're actually inside the PlayStation, these screws are just regular old Phillips head. So they're no more security screws here, you just take these out. Eat it. Get out. Get it. It's really long there. Alright, let's try this instead. Use these little grabbers, see if they'll pick it up. There we go. Useful. For 3. For like a fast and that definitely oh they is a drive. Faster. Masters. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys. Screw and turns to the corner of it. Nice screw. Yeah. Alright. There we go. So I believe that is all the screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws in the top. And no, it just lifts right off. Yes. Now inside, ooh, made a little snappy noise. That's not good. Now inside, we've got this little ribbon cable running to the card reader. So you want to very carefully take that off because you don't want to break anything. I believe it comes off of the reader side. You just want to lift and pops right out. This is a ZIF connector, so it just comes out easily. So that's the top of the PS3. As you can see, it's see-through, which is pretty cool. And while we're at this point, it would be a good idea, I actually should have done this earlier, but it's a good idea to take the hard drive out now, since it's a good stopping point. You just want to take your flathead, and then inside this little thing on the side here. You put a flathead in there, it pops the door off. Then you got this blue screw here, it's Phillips head. And you just take your screwdriver and unscrew this big old blue screw. That's too big. Let's get a smaller bit. Try this one. There we go, perfect. That turns the screw. Take the blue screw out. And come on. There we go. So the blue screw is out. So now there's a little latch here. You just pull it up and then the drive slides forward, right out. It's a little laptop hard drive. I'm going to take this and then clone it to my computer, so hopefully I don't lose any data on it. And then I'll just put this off to the side for later. It's a 80 gig drive, so yes, this is definitely a later model PS3. The launch ones came with 60 gig. Even though it's possible it could have been upgraded at some point, but clearly it hasn't. The model number is wrong. So, what we're left with now is the power supply here, the card reader. Actually, no, I took the card reader out, but I still have to take this part of the board off, I believe. And then the Blu-ray drive. And then under that, I believe, is the heat spreader. And that is what's left on the motherboard. I also have to take off the buttons on the front here. So I'm going to, in this clip right here, get the screws and stuff cleaned up and put in a bag so I don't lose any of them. And then I'll be back. Alright. I took all the screws and little pieces and stuff so far and stuck them in a little plastic baggie. I still gotta clean the hard drive off. It's extremely dusty, but I can deal with it later. I just had to clean all that stuff up so I wouldn't lose any of it. And I can get myself organized. So, here's part 2, I guess. Next thing we need to do is take out the Blu-ray drive, and it should just pop right up, because I already took the screws out. Now, under it, we've got this power cable here, which should just pop right out. And then on the back, we've got that ribbon cable, which needs to come out. So we got another ZIF connector here, and I don't want to break it. I really don't like ZIF connectors. I think this is one of the ones that slides instead of pulling up. Nope, it pulls up. Alright. So you just pop it up, and that comes right out. It's extremely dusty. That's a slot-loading Blu-ray drive. Alright, cool. Put that off to the side, and I guess next needs to come out the power supply. There's a little clip in the back. I'm just going to unhook it. This is the clip from the power cord. Actually, let me pull this off, the part where it goes into the motherboard. Take that little plug out, then pull off the clip in the back. Don't move. There we go. Almost. Got it. Okay. So that's out, and now it looks like it just needs the screws taken off. Alright, so there's a bunch of screws here now. We got what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 screws at this point. So I guess I'll just start going at them anywhere. Yeah, it's another ZIF connector. And I believe this is also the Wi-Fi antenna, which just comes off there. There we go. It's got another screw here. It's extremely dusty in here, which is also probably one of the main reasons this thing got so hot. It pulled in so much dust. I'm definitely going to have to blast this out with some air later. So that should just come right off. There we go. Alright, and that looks like the Wi-Fi module. Yeah, that is definitely Wi-Fi. Okay, so get rid of that. Put that over there. So we got some ribbon cables. And I want to take off the power supply. Actually, you know what? I need more plastic bags. It would be a good idea for me to keep the screws that go with the things with the things. So I'll put the Wi-Fi module in its own bag with its own screws and whatever. I'm gonna need a lot more little baggies. There. Alright, so now let's start on the PSU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This. Oh, come on. There we go. These are torqued down pretty hard. Alright, that's 7 screws in there. This one's a real weird shape. It's got a washer on it. It goes in the back. This is the screw for the ground strap for the power supply, so that's important. The short screw with the washer goes to the ground strap. But otherwise, this should just lift right out. There we go. Cool. And then the Wi-Fi antenna is taped to the PSU on the side here. So look at all that dust. Ugh. There, whatever. Alright, so this can go in a bag, in a big bag by itself. Put this off to the side. This comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws of its own. And one of them is the weirdly shaped one that goes to the ground strap. Alright. I don't have any real big bags on me, so I'm going to go get one. Also, something interesting to note, with the power supply, it has a kind of interesting design. On the bottom here, you can see that there's 2 holes. That is how the power comes from the power supply to the motherboard. And right here, you can see these 2 prongs coming up. Those actually stick right into the bottom of the power supply, so you just stick it down on top, and then the prongs go inside, and it delivers power. Rather than having like a jack or whatever, it just sticks right on, and that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a bigger bag. I'll be right back. Okay, I picked up a couple little sandwich bags and a couple gallon bags, just so I can be sure that I don't lose anything. So real quick, I'm going to put the power supply and its screws in here so I don't lose them. Seal that up. Perfect. Okay, so I can put that off to the side. Also, this right here, I believe, is the Bluetooth dongle. It can come off too. It actually connected to the Wi-Fi dongle, but I don't really want to put them in the same bag. I don't want to mix the screws up. They're probably the exact same, but I don't want to risk it. So I'm just going to pull this off and put it in its own little bag. So there we go. That can go off to the side. Now this little heat pad right here, apparently it's for the Blu-ray drive. So I guess the Blu-ray drive goes through this heat pad, and it also connects to the giant heatsink here to vent its heat off. It looks like it's a whole bunch of stuff going through one giant heatsink, which I guess explains why there's so many yellow light of death incidents. It's just so much stuff going on to one heatsink, it can't handle it, and then everything heats up so hot. Alright, let's see. So now I need to take off the touch sensors here. Where did I put my screwdriver? Here we are. Actually, let me unhook the ribbon cable first. It's another ZIF connector. Is this one different? There we go. No, it's the same. Fortunately, these are all door style. They're not like slide outs. Slide outs are the worst ones because they're really easy to break. No, not two. Go in their own little bag. So now we are at the point where it's time to take off the heat spreader or heat sink, whatever. First thing I'm going to do is take off these two here, these little middle parts. They are independent of the rest of the heat sink, so I'm going to take these off. So dusty, it's crazy. Alright, so take that off. Did that bend? Oh no, it just looks like they're naturally bent. Alright, I'll go there. Right. Can stay there. Oh, probably should have popped these off from the motherboard rather than their actual components, but it'll be alright. So this comes out of there, and this one comes out of here. There we go. There's another ribbon cable over here. It's a little one. How do I get that out? It just pops right out. Okay, good. Alright, so that's all the ribbon cables so far. It's an extreme amount of dust in here, which I'm definitely going to have to clean up. I'll just start taking the screws off of the heat sink. Now, this dust is not mine. This is my friend's PlayStation. So, I don't know how all the dust got in there, but, you know, it's so cramped, it's not surprising. Apparently, a ridiculous amount of dust is a problem with older PlayStations, which explains, again, why they got so hot. So cramped in there, there's a lot of dust, not good ventilation, so many yellow lights of death. So now we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it looks like, screws holding on this heatsink. And just take them all off. This one. There you go. So much great high there. All the back. The other screw. These things inside this over here. Okay, so that is 8 screws out, and this should just lift right off. There we go. Look. Don't unbook them. There we go. Oh, it was that simple. Alright. So that's one of the heat sinks. Interesting. And then of course we have a lot of dust here. Put that back in the frame. Alright, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Put them in their own bag. Should have another little sandwich bag here. Put them in with these pieces. Alright, so now the back panel, I believe, is the next part that needs to come off. Though I'm not 100% sure on how to do that. It should just pop straight back, I think. It's already off on this side. Oh, okay. Right. Well, yeah, the motherboard looks like I can just pull right out of the bottom housing now. There we go. Okay. And look at all that dust. That is ridiculous. That is a lot of dust. Also, the bottom's see-through too. That's pretty cool. That is crazy. Okay, so move that out the way. Definitely gonna have to clean that out. And here is mostly the motherboard and the back panel and the giant fan. So, this I think just pops right off the back. Should just come right off. It's got clips. There we go. Okay. So this comes right off. That goes over there. And now we got the motherboard, so we got to flip this over. Ooh. And take this stuff off. Now there's a CR2032. This is the backup battery. Turn that way so it can be in the frame. There. So this is a CR2032 battery. This is the backup battery. This PlayStation's busted. I don't care about the settings, so there. No more settings. CMOS is clear, so let's pull off the battery. Actually, I don't need to. I can just take the chassis off. So first things first, let's take off the fan, unplug it, and then it's got 3 screws. Yeah, this big. Okay. Okay. This goes in. And it just lifts right out. And this is the PS3's fan, and it is huge. It's gigantic. That would definitely slice your finger off. I think it's metal. It's either metal or really hard plastic, and that would definitely slice your finger out real good if you got stuck in there. So, alright, move that out the way. And actually, let me put it in its own bag. Might as well. Don't want to lose those. Okay. Now, how does this come off? I believe there's some screws holding it. No? No? It just snaps off? I don't know how to get this off of here. Let's see. It's attached on this side with something. Oh, okay. Well, that's that. Wow! Okay, it just came straight off. This thermal paste is terrible. Look at that. So this is the thermal paste going to the RSX, which is the GPU, and this is the thermal paste going to the cell, which is the CPU. And let me zoom in on that, because there is barely any coverage whatsoever on those. Look at how little thermal paste is on those chips. Like, you can actually clearly read cell broadband engine, and it's like completely dried up. That is ridiculous. No wonder it's got a yellow light of death. Okay, so obviously I need to replace the thermal paste because it's hot. And clean this out. So move the giant heatsink out of the way. Wow. So let's take another look at that. There's a bit more thermal paste on this side, but it's just not a lot. Wow. Look at those copper pipes. Interesting design. So, from what's left, this should just come off, I think. There's no more screws. So if I remember correctly, just have to it looks like the only part still stuck on is this back here. I'm kind of afraid. Oh, well, I'm stupid, and the problem was not this. I wasn't supposed to bend that. There are 2 more screws. I'm just stupid and didn't notice them. They're just real tiny on the SATA drive. Oh, my hands are covered in dust. This is nasty. Okay, so let's try to bend that back down a little bit. There. That comes right off. Okay. So unfortunately I bent those, but I think I pushed them back in good enough. So this is it. This is the motherboard. This is it right here. And that is a PS3. Fat PS3. Now, this is the RSX chip. Again, that's the GPU is the cell broadband engine. The CPU, I'm not sure what this is, but in the older model, the original launch PS3, this was the emotion engine. So the PS2 was just right there. And there was an entire PS2 on the board. And then this is something else. I don't know what that is. I think it's the South Bridge, I believe. I'm not sure. But regardless, I'm going to take this thing outside. I'm going to clean it down very well. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is take off the thermal paste. I'm going to blow all this dust off, use some alcohol, clean it down as good as I can, clean off all the other parts, and then I will start recording again when I am ready to reflow. So that's it for the disassembly, and I will cut here, be back shortly. Before I go any further, I'd just like to take a quick video of the cleaned up board. I took it out to the garage and blew all the dust off of it, and I took some alcohol, some cotton swabs, and tried to clean off the cell and the RSX. You can still kind of see a tiny amount of residue from the thermal paste on each of the chips, but it's alright. So I haven't heat gunned it yet, but that's the next step. I just wanted to take a quick video of that, give a little progress update. What I'm assuming is FPGA right here. I accidentally knocked the thermal pad off of that, so I'm gonna have to put that back on there. It's just in the other room at the moment. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. It fell on the ground and got dirt on it, but I cleaned it off, so I should just have to stick it right back on, and hopefully we'll be okay. Otherwise, I cleaned the board off, and it actually looks good. So I hope I can fix it. On the other hand, I also cleaned the other parts, all the dust off of everything. These were the most obvious parts where you could see dust. This is the bottom of the inside of the case, and it's all nice and clean now. I went through basically everything, blew all the dust out of it, used my air duster, blew out all the dust, and then went back and then wiped it down, made sure everything was clean. So all the parts are good. except I kind of made a huge mistake. Because I'm an idiot, I decided that it was a good idea to use my air duster on the fan, which, by the way, is a gigantic fan, which seems to be made of metal and also be extremely dangerous. So I decided that it was a good idea to blow the air duster into it. So of course it's spinning real fast, and I'm like, ha ha ha, look at that. And I'm like, oh, well maybe I shouldn't do this anymore because it's really dangerous and I don't want to hurt myself. So right as I'm thinking that, I end up deciding, well, maybe I should spray some air in it the other way so it can go backwards. So I do that, and then I gasp in horror as the fan ends up sucking in the power cord, which gets stuck under the blades. Now note that this thing is really heavy and it's spinning ridiculously fast, and it has a lot of momentum, and the thing just gets stuck right inside the blades. The fan just immediately stops, and all of that momentum inside the fan goes straight into the power connector, and it just snaps off and goes flying. So it looks like the actual pins under it, which I don't think the camera will focus on that, but it looks like the actual pins on the end of the wires are okay. And I have what I believe is the two halves of the plastic piece on the end of the power connector. Here they are. So these are the two little plastic parts of the connector. It looks like this bigger half is generally alright, and I think the smaller half actually had a little piece snap off right on this end here. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing gloves because it was dusty and nasty, so I wanted to clean it. Anyway, it looks like this half is okay, this half might not. I don't even know if they'll snap together anymore, but I'm going to try regardless. I don't remember what the pinout on here is, and I've never actually pinned a connector before, so I guess I'll have to figure that out. And if I can't get it to work, I'm going to be really mad that a project that should have taken a day at the most is now going to take probably a week or so, because I have to wait on a new fan to arrive in the mail, and I'm not going to be happy about that. But, yeah. Anyway, that's it for now, and I guess the next clip will be of me heat gunning the processors. So, there we go. Okay, it is now about 8 hours later, I'd say, maybe a little more, and the motherboard has been heat gunned, reflowed, I hope. I don't know if it actually did anything or not. I'll have to find out. I unfortunately didn't get any video of me actually trying to reflow it, but just imagine a long video of me standing in the garage blowing a very large and very hot hairdryer at a motherboard. Anyway, so it's done, I guess, and it's ready to be put back together. This little heat pad here still fell off, I think, what is this FPGA over here, but I should just be able to stick that back down, and I hope it'll be alright. We'll find out. Anyway, so I gotta put more thermal paste back on. I unfortunately don't have any Arctic Silver, but I do have Arctic MX4, which is slightly worse, but it should do the job. And, yeah, I've cleaned off the majority of the parts, so putting it back together should be the opposite of taking it apart. And it should be pretty simple. So, here we go. Also, this fan here, the connector is still broken off, but the actual little headers are still on the end, the little pins, and it should still be able to connect to the pins on the board. If I'm careful. I don't know if it'll stay, but I'm going to try it and see if it works before I end up buying a new one of these, because I don't want to have to actually spend money on this project outside of the heat gun, which I was going to buy anyway. So hopefully I can get the fan to work without having to buy a new one. Alright, let's see if I can remember how to put this thing back together. Let's put on some thermal paste, I figure it needs a little more than what a computer's CPU would use. That seems okay, I hope. I really hope. There we go, some on the RSX. And I hope that will be enough. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so it's been a few more hours since the last clip. I went out and saw Captain America: Civil War. Good movie, go see it. Anyway, so I'm back to this now. And I thought about it on the way home, and I realized that I don't want to put this whole thing all the way back together and with the chance that it doesn't work. So I'm going to try to put as much of it together as I can without actually putting on like the plastic shell and stuff from the back, except for maybe the touch sensitive buttons. But I'm going to see if I can put together as much as I can without actually sticking the whole thing back together, just to see if it works. If it doesn't, I guess I'll try heat gunning it again, and if it does, of course, then I can just stick it back together. So I just pop that out, and hopefully I can connect everything up and get it to work. So, first things first, I have to deal with this fan somehow, and I played around with it a little bit earlier, and it looks like I still have the pins on the ends here, and they can still go into the connector. It's just a lot more annoying since I don't have the connector on the end. So it looks like I can use some tweezers, stick them onto the little pins, and it should hopefully work. I looked up the pinout, and it looks like the order is red, black, gray from left to right, I believe. But now, honestly, I'm not so sure, so I'm going to go look at that again. I'll be right back. Well, there's the fan. And let me put the cable back behind his little clip here. There we go. And I hope that works. Okay. So that's on. Actually, that seems pretty secure as it is. I'm not going to worry about the other screws. I'm just going to stick the ribbon cables on and see what happens. Because I'm stupid. And we're ready for power. I'm going to plug in the card reader just to be sure. I'm really nervous right now. I'm sure it'll work without the card reader, but don't want to take the chance. Please don't blow up. Please. Kind of need to put the hard drive in also. Now, I am slightly worried still about the fan shorting out, but not really all that worried. Okay. That's it. It's ready for me to plug it in now. On the hard drive. Just so it doesn't yellow light on that. Okay. That's it. The PS3 is back together enough to be functional. I'm extremely nervous right now. Alright, let's plug it in. Okay, so I've got the PS3 plugged into a power strip so I can hit the emergency power off button if necessary. But otherwise, it's basically put together as much as it will be. So the power button is under here, and just need to hit it. Looks like there are a little contact there. I'll have to move that into position real quick. Just need to basically hold these together and then hit that, touching the grounding points. Okay, I'm extremely nervous. Here goes. Flipping the power switch now. No light. I don't see a red light. Here goes. Hold on, let me make sure. Oh, it's upside down, no wonder. That's eject, and that's power. Oh, I've got them backwards. That would be why the power strip's backwards. Let me fix that. Okay, let's try that again. I flipped the switch, and I got a red light this time, so that means that this board is on, it's getting power. Oh, I'm extremely nervous right now. Here goes. Inside. Oh, it's on, it's on. The fan worked, Oh, it's on, it's on, it's on. It's on, it's working. Oh, I did it. I did it. Oh man, I did it. Okay. Wow, I did it. It's working. I'm going to turn it off. Okay. Okay. Alright. I fixed it. Oh. That made me really, really nervous. I gotta put it back together. Okay. So I kind of had to walk away for a second there just because I was really excited. Alright, now I gotta put all this stuff back together. It actually worked. Okay, so yeah, now I gotta take this apart so I can properly put it back together. Which shouldn't be a big deal, it's just a bunch of putting screws back in. There. Oh wow, it's already hot. And it was only on for like several seconds, but it's, wow, that explains a lot. No wonder it got yellow light so easily. It just sets itself on fire, it's crazy. I'm really excited. That was cool. Even though I already have a perfectly working PS3, but I just fixed the completely broken one, so whether that's temporary or not, I don't really care, because it can just be heat gunned again. But it's still kind of cool, because, you know, I did it. Whatever. But first things first, before I really start putting all this together, I really need to fix the CMOS. The pins are screwed up. Alright, so with the help of some needle nose pliers, thank you, I was able to bend the pins back into place, and the CMOS went right in. I am really surprised that this actually worked. This actually worked, and the pins aren't shorting, which is great. That's not a long-term solution. It honestly won't surprise me if at some point the fan dies and then this thing just kills itself, which, you know, I don't want, but I still have a perfectly working PS3, so I don't really care. That's the whole point of this. I wanted to do it for free. So, maybe at some point I'll consider buying another fan. They're like $6. It's not a big deal. I don't know. I don't really know how much I care about actually replacing that, but it's cheap, and it's not hard to disassemble this thing again, so I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so the CMOS is back in. Now I can start putting this back together for real. It's still kind of dusty and nasty, but whatever. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go clean off the Wi-Fi module and get some of this dust off of these ribbons real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't even know what all I did while I had the camera off. Obviously I put it back inside the shell. I put the back panel back on. I fixed the CMOS battery. I think I mentioned that already. I was supposed to go away to clean this up, which I did a little bit. I got 95% of the dust off of it. Clean the ribbons up a little bit. I figured out the correct orientation this is supposed to go in. I'm stupid, of course. So that goes there, and then it just screws into place. That ribbon goes right in here. There we are. Okay. So that ribbon goes there, and then these have to... There, that's in place. Okay, so then I just screw that down. I'd like to test it again while it's like this real quick. Just to be sure that the fan is actually still connected. I'm a little worried about the wires, but I'll give it a shot and see what happens. It's obviously resting on the bottom where the wires are at the moment, so I want to be sure that the pins are still connected and everything, nothing's shorting out, and the fan actually spins up. So I'll stick the Blu-ray drive and power supply back in real quick and see what happens. Okay. So that goes right on top. Alright, so let's try it again. Okay, I've got the PS3 mostly put together again. It's not screwed into the bottom chassis, but I've got power coming in. I want to try turning it on with the controller. So I'm going to plug it in and see what happens. Nothing. I think it has to be synced first, that's right. So let's try. Come on. Get in there. Oh, okay. You just tap it with your finger directly on the switch. Okay, cool. It's on. The fan is on. Yes, good. And I got video. Okay. Now the hard drive isn't in. I don't think. Yeah, I took the hard drive out. That's right. And the controller doesn't want to work. It's not doing anything. It's probably because there's no hard drive in it. Oh, the controller's working now. There we go. Cannot start. No storage system. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it's off. And turns on with the controller. Perfect. Can I unplug the controller? Yes. Okay, so the controller's unplugged. I'm going to turn that back off. I do hear a fan, so the fan's still working, which is good. Turn off, please. I think that's kind of shocking me. Turn off, please. Please. Okay. Alright, so it's off. Now let's use the controller. And no? No, so it's not synced. Yeah, it's not synced, but I can plug it in and do that. I think. I did just a second ago. Alright, whatever. Not a big deal, I'll figure it out. Anyway, so yes, it does still work. So I'll continue putting it back together. So, I noticed that I made a mistake. I just spent the last 30 minutes to an hour putting all those screws back in, getting the thing put back together. When I realized, I went back to my video and looked at it, and I realized that these little clips back here on the back end of the motherboard are supposed to hook into the metal parts below them. So I had to go through, take off the clips, hold the heat spreaders down, and take it mostly apart again, take out a bunch of screws. So hopefully this won't pull apart everything I just did. Ow. Ow, that really hurt. And I should just be able to lift this up. And then hopefully, gotta take that ribbon cable off. Hopefully, with any luck, I can just tilt this into place and then put it right back down without causing a whole bunch of problems. That might be a bit wishful thinking though. I don't want to take the stupid Wi-Fi module off again, but it looks like I have to because it's in the way. Spent all that time putting this stuff right back on, now I gotta take it right back off again. Ugh. On the upside, while I was taking care of that, I did get the hard drive cloned like I wanted to, which of course took about an hour or so. So all that time that I spent doing that I was trying to make progress on this so that I could have it ready, put in, and start, I just kind of lost. So I had to take it right back apart, and yeah. Okay, so that's out of the way. Yeah. Take that off. There. Alright, let's try this again. I'm kind of at the point where I don't care. Actually, no, there's 3 clips there. Yeah, but I'm kind of at the point where I don't care, and I just want it to go in. Because they're just little clips, and I spent all that time taking it off to put them in. Now they don't want to go. I feel like it'll be fine without them. It's not going to move around much. It's not a big deal. I got this one clip in at least. Whatever. I don't care. Little plastic tap. Ow! 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 Ow, it hurt. Ow. Oh, this is more trouble than it's worth. Wow, that really, really hurt. Ow. So I just accidentally stuck a little plastic piece that was jutting out, and it stuck right into my thumb, and now I'm bleeding. Oh, it hurts. Okay, so I kind of just stabbed myself in the finger, and that really, really hurt, but anyway, as I was saying, ow. I got this clip in, these 2 back here don't want to go in, but I got the little plastic piece back here in, so honestly, I don't really care. That go under my finger. Wow, it's like the tiniest piece, and I somehow stuck it directly at the one point where it would go straight under my thumbnail and slice my thumb open, and that really, really hurt. Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about those 2 clips there. I got this one in. I don't care. Whatever. So I'm just going to stick the screws in that hold this thing down, and then put it all back together, because I don't care enough to deal with that. That doesn't seem to be right. Alright, I'm not too worried about it. I'll figure that out whenever. Let's test it out. Okay, let's see. Shouldn't be getting a red light. Yes, I am. Alright. Here we go. Let's give it a shot. And I can't get it to turn on because the top won't go on. Pop that up and touch the button. There we go. We're on. system was not turned off properly the last time it was used. Okay. Okay, it finished doing its check. Looks like it came out all good. I don't know if it being connected to the computer to clone affected it or not, but whatever. Alright. We are up. Okay. No, controller's not working. Alright, I'm just going to log into someone. It works. Let's see. Is there a game in the drive? No. I can't tell if there was or not. No, actually that definitely feels like there's a disc there. There is a disc in there. Oh, I got it. Haha. Aha! Tomb Raider. Okay. So, it's there we go. So that was in fact in there. Let's see what games are on here. Dust 514. Let's see, what's firmware is this on? .46. Alright. Well, I just got to reset the time and date. And let's see, are there any like saved games on here? I'm sure there are. Tomb Raider, yeah, there's some stuff. Alright, yeah, but what's most important is it works. So, yeah. I guess that's it for now. But I took a Yellow Light of Death PS3 and it no longer has the yellow light of death. I did it.